Hi. What do you do when your school is not doing well? When your school spends a great deal of time and money on discipline? When the teachers leave or want to? When the students are unhappy and not achieving well? When your school is known to be the one to avoid by parents, teachers, and students because failure is expected? You change. Not big changes, but little effective changes, stimulated and led by a principal who made success a priority. Let's find out from her and many others what happened at Anthony School in Leavenworth, Kansas. Well, Janine, you're the principal here at the school. My understanding is that Anthony was not the leader in elementary schools prior to the program.
Anthony Elementary did not have a very nice reputation. Our discipline referrals were the most in the district at the elementary level. Our free reduced is 76%. We have a very transient population, high minority, and all of those things combined with very little parental support, it wasn't conducive to learning on most days. That has since changed because we have totally turned things around. Our kids are learning. They're on task almost the entire day.
Brianna, you're with me.
The eating in the classroom has built family relationships within the classroom. Teachers are finding out things at home, getting to know the kids better. The kids know the teacher better. They're learning table manners. They're learning proper social conversations at lunchtime. And they're learning to eat better, and they're learning which foods are good for them and how much of what they should eat.
And what sort of changes have occurred here at Anthony School?
Well, primarily the changes have been ones of point of service as opposed to what's on the menu. We made a few small changes in the menu, primarily at breakfast, where I reduced the sugar content in the breakfast cereals. We do offer more cereals that have a higher fiber content if they have a sugar addition. Otherwise, then, I'm not doing anything different at breakfast. At lunch, the major change that we made was these carts. We prepare the food completely. It becomes a served meal. Whatever's on the menu, each child is served, just like right here. And the child can not eat it. We don't force them to eat. We encourage them to eat. And the advantage is they're eating in a much smaller classroom, a much smaller environment, less distracting. And they have a positive role model. They talk about the foods, the benefit to the body, and the waste has gone down tremendously. We have less plate waste. We have an easier to manage kitchen. We had to reorganize and change a lot. The beginning of the year was challenging, but it rolls pretty smoothly, and right now I've got a wonderful staff in the kitchen that work for the good of the child. It's really exactly where I want it to be.
It might be better if you push it. There you go.
I want my whole staff to be healthy, so we all take vitamins. Custodians and lunch and secretarial staff, everyone here takes them.
Do the kids in general take the vitamins?
After about the first 2 weeks of moaning and groaning and I can't stand these and I want to throw them out kind of thing, we don't hear that anymore. They just take them now and it becomes routine. So.
What we're seeing right now is the lunch program, and we have lunch with the students. The students have lunch in the classroom, and I think that we've really started to enjoy that. It provides the kids an opportunity to eat with each other in a more calm setting, a smaller setting, and they can socialize during the lunch period. And what we've noticed is that they eat more of their lunch instead of throwing a lot of it away. And what we've also started to try to do is provide them with different kinds of food that they maybe hadn't seen before. So we're seeing good results with that. We have more parental involvement this year than we ever have in the past, and we hear from parents all the time how happy they are that things are turned around and their students are happy, the parents are happy, and I think it's just been just a huge turnaround. This is the best year I've ever had. I've heard that there are other teachers in the district who are wanting to come to teach at this school, and parents who are hoping to transfer their kids to this school.
That's quite a change.
That's a big turnaround.
You did an outstanding job of changing the teacher's time for planning and other things and meeting with the kids. How did you get that accomplished?
Well, you know, every idea is real good in your head until you can, but it doesn't do any good if I can't get it to work. Negotiated agreement was huge, because then we're talking contracts and those kinds of things. The only duty-free time in a whole day is that 30 minutes that teachers get, and that is very precious time. I can't ask them to do anything. They don't have to do anything. And, you know, it's only been a couple years since I've been out of the classroom, and I worked with most of these teachers, and I know that they wanted more plan time kinds of things. And so I came up with the idea of, it tied in well with the structured activity. By grade level, teachers would get 40-minute plan time or time to use as they choose in exchange for 30 minutes of duty-free lunch. And shoot, I'm no fool. I would have taken it too. So I get 50 extra minutes a week than anyone else gets. And we also encourage them to eat with the kids. And so I threw in a free lunch, which the grant then provides. You know, all the money is coming from the grant for them to eat lunch with the kids. And so I did a whole big sell job at a staff meeting and put together some things and said, if you give up this 30, I'll give you 40. I'll pay for your lunch if you'll eat with the kids and show them good nutrition. And I guarantee you that the big issue has always been here, and I taught here 5 years, so I know that the issue was discipline. I guarantee you, and I went out on a limb here, I probably would have gotten beat up had this not worked well. I guarantee you discipline will no longer be an issue in this building. For as many years as I've been here, and I think this is true of all schools, we've set kids up for failure. We knew every day we took them to the lunchroom it was going to be bad. We knew every day we took them to recess it was going to be bad. Aides are great, lunchroom aides. It's not the same kind of control that a teacher has. And when kids are away from their teacher, especially ours, they don't like change. It's difficult for them to handle unstructured time. And I said, I guarantee you it's going to improve behavior.
And you delivered.
I did. Woo, which is really good, like I said. First quarter office referrals were down 90% from last year.
So you have nothing to do now, right?
Well, I tell you what's been really nice is I really get to be a principal. I always hated knowing that we were sending kids to do lunch unstructured and recess unstructured. And I thought we were setting them up for failure because that's where they failed more than any place else. And then when they did fail, I had to punish. I don't want to punish kids for the failure I've set them up for. And so this year we set them up for success, and they're being successful.
That's a good rallying cry, isn't it? Setting them up for success.
Well, yeah, gee, isn't that novel?
And how does respect work? Where are you going? Where are you going? Who can stop you?
Only me!
Who can stop you?
Only me!
Last question. Are you the one?
I
Are you the one?
am
What's your name?
the one!
Suki, you got the good. All right.
I am the parent-student liaison here.
I basically do all the communication between the students, the school, and the parents. And depending upon which day you catch me, I may be wearing the disciplinarian hat.
And what's your impression this year of how the school is running?
Tremendous, tremendous. Every day there's something new happening, and the job Mrs. Kemker has done to turn this school around. I mean, I don't know if she's expressed it to you, but we didn't have a very good impression that was being made on the community in the past, and the things that she's done to change this school, it's just amazing. I, for one, did not even want to come back here last year, and with the changes she's made, it's 100% better. Whether you're in the city or whether you're in the suburbs or one of the little rural schools, the problems are basically all the same. I think it starts with the leadership that you have at the school. You have to believe that what you're going to do is going to work. And then you have to have the teachers on board. And once you're able to convince them, it's pretty simple to get the students to follow. And when the students notice that they are having fun instead of getting in trouble, it really makes changes for you. I think the alternative school schedule, for one, keeps kids focused longer on the academic part of school. The job that Mrs. Montgomery and the ladies at the structured recess have done, it's just tremendous. I may get one call every 2 or 3 weeks to go out and actually take care of a problem that they're having out there, whereas before that was an everyday thing.
Good job! Good job!
I'm the PE teacher here at Anthony. I also am over the structured activity time, where I have 3 aides who work for me, and they listen to the lesson plans that I've taught, and they go out and execute those for our students. All 3 of our aides are parents that have students that go to Anthony School. They're very involved with their students, and we now have hired them to come in and work all day long with each class, so they actually have more hands-on time with the students than any of us specials teachers, since they have them 45 minutes each day. I would like to talk a little bit about my hard data that I've gotten as far as the physical fitness testing is concerned. I do the President's Challenge, which is 5 different tests that we measure speed, agility, endurance, strength, and so on. And I've had over 50% of my class averages increase as far as all of their test results go.
So the kids are a bit more fit.
Absolutely they are.
I like the structured activity for several reasons. One, because the students get to eat in the classroom with this new grant, and they get to eat in the classroom with their teacher, so they're learning better manners. The structured activity, there's usually 3 of us out here, but since you guys are here today, we have one inside showing you all what we do if it's raining. But they don't have time to come out here and get in trouble. It's structured. There's games for them to play, and we sit and worry about this all day Friday. What are we going to do next week? What are we going to do next week? And they're starting to look forward to it now. Oh, what are we doing this week, Miss Jones? Are we playing kickball? We came up with this new game, Bottle Bop, and they love it, and they're having so much fun over there at it.
So what do you notice in terms of trash and vandalism and things like that?
Oh, we used to have bathroom issues. The bathrooms used to get messed up really bad. We don't have any of that anymore.
So you can save a lot in that area in terms of what goes on in the school custodial area.
Right, and really one of the big concerns was mess in classrooms during the lunchtime, spills and things, and I think if we've had maybe 5 all school year, that'd probably be a pretty good estimate, and those are real minor.
To be honest with you, at first I didn't think it was going to work too well, but I've changed my mind about it. I thought we'd have a lot of mess in the classrooms when it was done, but it really isn't.
All right, your custodial work hasn't increased?
No, it hasn't.
And how about what they throw away?
Less food.
through
It's
less
actually
weight?
less food than what it was when they were eating in the cafeteria.
So the waste isn't as much?
It's not as much as it used to
You
be.
used to have a lot more milk containers tossed
Yeah,
out?
a
things
lot
like
more.
that?
Well, we used to take the milk containers and use a 5-gallon bucket, and they'd pour it in it, and they'd be half full. Now the containers are empty.
So what would you say to custodians at other schools as to this kind of program?
I would recommend it being done other places.
You're kind of a convert.
Yep.
I think it's wonderful that you have a plan for success instead of failure. That whole concept is something that every school should embrace.
I would like to think so. I'd like to think that some schools will change if they see the success that we're having. Cost is really overall very minimal. I kind of look at just in my salary alone, I was spending probably 75% of my day doing discipline. Now I'm spending 99% of my time working with teachers, improving curriculum, getting to know our kids better, encouraging them.
We're here to talk with Ms. Calloway. The kids have just left for art, and I'd like to know from you your opinion of what has happened since you made the changes in the school, I guess in the past year.
Right. We initiated our eating in the classroom and our healthy choices thing. We received a grant from the school, for the school, in order to do that. So the children eat in the classroom with us, and then later during the day they have a chance to go outside for a structured recess. I've seen so many changes with the children. We work on manners. We work on eating new foods that they're not used to eating. I have one little boy who at the first of the year refused to eat anything except his dessert. And he now eats, he knows that he has to have his main course first, and then he can eat his dessert. One little girl recently lost her father, and at the first of the year, anytime anyone would mention it, she was very upset. And then one day at lunch, she started talking about it and the fact that it was okay that her daddy was gone. And all the other children were saying, well, that's okay. You know, it's okay for this to happen. So it's so many things that are social as well as the nutrition that's there. Last year we observed in our lunchroom, so we had 10-gallon buckets that the children poured their milk out in. This year, no one pours their milk out. There is very little waste in their food, and it's just phenomenal. The parents absolutely love it because the ugly remarks, the little fights, the little pettiness that would sometimes occur in the lunchroom last year, if it starts in the classroom, you can just say, oh, I don't think that's something that we need to talk about at lunchtime, and it's ended. So many of our school problems have been ended by having lunch in our classrooms.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And they have kind of a structured exercise period also?
Yes, and it's headed by our PE teacher. Works with the ladies, and she gives them games so that the children are running, hopping, leaping. They've learned, the greatest thing they've learned is sportsmanship. At the first of the year, when they missed their turn or they were out, they would sit and cry. Now they just accept it and go on and laugh. I mean, it's really phenomenal. So it's really built their self-esteem, and their whole general attitude is so much better.
Well, that's great. Do you think other schools should try something like this?
I think everybody should. It's I don't know, it's hard to even explain. It's almost like with some of these children, it's been miraculous. There are changes in their behavior. There are changes in what they now eat. There are changes in their manners. At the first of the year, I had one little boy that would just sit there, and we had children that would literally eating with their hands. Now that we're using our forks, we're using our napkins, and we're actually carrying on conversations with each other. I think it's wonderful. I think everyone should do it. The parents have come in, and they cannot believe the difference. They are so happy with our lunch program.
Great.
And they have come in, they've talked to me, they've talked to the principal, and we're just hoping and praying that we'll have the funds to continue.
And the teachers, it seems to be, are much happier and are less likely to move on?
Yes. We had no one that wants to leave.
Thank you for being with us today, Clay. You're the superintendent of schools here in Leavenworth, is that right?
That's correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about Anthony's school?
We're a K-5 building, and we serve about 215 students. We see kids a lot more engaged in learning here, a lot more focused on what they're doing. I think we have a lot more direction in the program here that's because of the different things that we're doing. We certainly see a more healthy and happy bunch of children that are with us this year, group of kids. And we have a lot of good things that are going on with our staff also, too. So, we're seeing academic achievement that's better. Discipline referrals are down. We have more parent involvement. We see happier children, and so by and large, we're just seeing a lot of positive things.
Great. Now, this was started with a grant, and do you think this should be continued for a couple more years?
Well, this was a grant that we received, and based upon the results, we're certainly looking to continue to move forward in this area. It's hard to say what intervention is doing what, but the combination of all of them, including the nutritional things that we're doing, we really think are making a difference, and we are hoping to expand that for the next couple of years. I think every school is trying to find ways to be successful with kids, and this is probably thinking out of the box a little bit when you take the nutrition side of it and incorporate it with the other facets of traditional schooling. But we certainly think that other school districts could benefit from it.
Carol, it's wonderful to be with you here in Leavenworth.
Good to have you.
And I think we'd just like to know how you came up with the idea to seek a grant and what's happened since then.
Well, it started a couple of years ago. Dr. Richard Brandstrader was our superintendent, and he began a program called Success Task Force. And the point of that was to look at any student who was more than 0.4 below grade level in reading or math. And we took each of those individual students, created a file on them, and looked at all the academic variables, but we also wanted to look at all the non-academic variables. So as the grant writer, at that point, I started doing a lot of research about what all those different non-academic variables might be and what some of the research solutions to some of those problems might be. And during that research, I came across Dr. Stephen Schoenthaler's research work on nutrition. As you know, Dr. Schoenthaler really is a sociologist, but he had extrapolated a lot of the research he had done in prisons to education, and so he had some research on schools. And his research was so compelling that we decided we needed to look at this issue because we had a lot of at-risk poor kids in our district, and according to his research, those were the kids that could really benefit from nutritional supplements. His research showed that a lot of kids were nutritionally malnourished, and because of that, it limited their brain capacity to learn. So we contacted Dr. Stephen Schoenthaler. He came here and shared his research with us. And right away we knew we wanted to make that a part of a program to help these kids. So we started looking for funding, and we started to develop what we considered would be a complete wellness program that we would want to put into our schools. So we went beyond just the vitamin. We put exercise into our program. We went at Anthony School where we put the program. Kids were getting 2 PE periods a week of about 20 minutes. We restructured our school day so we could expand that to 3. The research showed that students who ate in the classroom with their teachers ate better. So we pulled that piece in addition to the vitamins. Research showed that kids, the ages of the kids in the elementary school, needed 60 minutes a day of exercise. So we took away the recess and replaced that with what we call a structured recess, where kids would have opportunities to choose, but they would have to be involved in aerobic activity. kids were served their lunch. We took away the choice for lunch and made sure that they got fruits and vegetables in addition to the other things. Teachers taught about nutrition while they ate with their students in their room. We added a water bottle on students' desks because we found research that said that kids really need to keep their brain hydrated. So we tried to sift through all the research we could find about what would really help kids as far as nutrition and exercise and wellness.
Well, for people who see this video, what advice would you have for the school people?
Don't hang on to something because it's best for adults. Look at what's best for kids. And what's best for kids eventually turns out to be what's best for adults, because I have the happiest staff in the whole world. They love coming to work every day. That 30-minute time that they gave up, they don't want back. We're spending, and I get to spend for a change, so much more time on curriculum. You know, we're looking at more detailed and refined ways to help our kids, and it's working. Our kids are doing academically better. My teachers are not stressed because they're not dealing with discipline issues anymore. They're getting to know their kids, and so they enjoy their kids. It's the whole relationship building. It's a family is what they've become. They eat together, they work together, they play together. And that's what you need in order to educate children.
That's very interesting, and of course the discipline problems practically evaporated. But how did school performance do? Well, we have two slides to show you. One is the Kansas Reading Assessment from 2002, 2003, and 2004. And I think you'll see that there was a significant improvement from unsatisfactory to exemplary. Only 1% were unsatisfactory, 18.5% were exemplary. And then the Kansas Mathematics Assessment, 2002, 2003, 2004, went from 40.5% unsatisfactory in 2002 to 0% in 2004. Went from 2.7% exemplary in 2002 to 47.6% in 2004. In my opinion, it's something every school should do. As a principal, Mrs. Kempker says, it's time we do what's good for kids, which turns out to be what's good for adults.
Are you the one? What's your name? Suki, you got the cool.
Did you say
The production and distribution of this video have been made possible by grants from the Wacker Foundation of Dallas, Texas, and the Center for the Improvement of Human Functioning International, Wichita, Kansas. To request a copy of this program, contact the Center for the Improvement of Human Functioning International, 3100 North Hillside, Wichita, Kansas, 67219, or visit our website at www.brightspot.org.